everyone. Welcome back to this week's live broadcast. We have some really fun projects planned for you today. We're going to be doing mixed media with the new UltraWeed heat transfer vinyl and Chroma Bling. We're also going to be monogramming a scrubs top, right? So what nurses and doctors and whatnot wear at the hospital whenever they're working. For those of you that may not know, it is Nurses Week. So I kind of wanted to dedicate the projects today to any healthcare and essential workers out there. So we're going to be doing the mixed media on a t-shirt and then monogramming that scrub top, and then also decorating a water bottle with sign vinyl or decal sticky vinyl in our patterns vinyl and also our solid vinyl as well. Right, so this is the pattern that we're using today. This actually isn't one of our stock patterns. However, you can purchase sign vinyl, printable sign vinyl on our website and print your own patterns. And that's exactly how this design was created. So if you're working with a solvent or eco-solvent printer, I think it works with latex too, but I would double check the details on the website for the product. But you can, yes, you can get sign vinyl and print on that if you want to create your own patterns. All right, so I see you guys commenting in. Nicole asked, will I be able to watch this later? As always, as we are broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube, you're always going to be able to revisit the video section of both of those platforms. So on the STAHLS All Things Heat Printing page, it will be there in the video section to watch later if you want to come back. And then we always upload the full video to YouTube as well. All right, so thank you guys for commenting in. It's always nice to see where everyone is joining from. Hi, Craig. It's good to see you on here today. April from Texas. All right, Jim, thank you for joining from Alberta, Canada. And also Sixto from Arizona. All right, so lots of people on with us today. Happy Friday. So let's go ahead and get started. I already have my sign vinyl cut out because I'm going to be cutting everything else live, and I just didn't want to spend too much time on the cutting process. So we're going to start with that project first. So the water bottle I sourced from Leeds. Okay, so that's leeds.com. We'll share a link in the comments section of the broadcast. But you can source wholesale water bottles that are really, really nice from that website. And another really good website is Save a Cup, which is they have like really good quality products. So we all know when it comes to travel mugs and ceramic mugs and water bottles, there's some really high-end ones out there. And I want to say it's because Yeti has such an impact on that market because it's so popular. We see it a lot in a variety of retail stores, from Dick's Sporting Goods to Walmart. They're just kind of everywhere. And they're pretty much the new standard when it comes to what someone wants in a travel bottle or mug. So I think that both of those websites do a really good job in sourcing wholesale products that compete right next to Yeti. So if you're not wanting to purchase Yeti because it can be pretty expensive, then you can get stuff that's a lot like that from those two websites. So again, those will be linked in the comments for you guys to utilize. All right, so as I mentioned, I already cut out the sign vinyl that we're going to be using today. So again, printable sign vinyl we offer. We also offer the printable, or not printable, that's what I just said, the pattern sign vinyl. So if you aren't able to print in-house, you can still get pattern sign vinyl from our website. And if I'm going to be totally transparent with you guys, I totally lost my Orate, which is what I have used in the past. So I don't know where it is. It's because I'm totally awful at organizing all of my materials. I honestly need to get shelving and start like organizing all my products so that I don't lose stuff. It's hanging out here somewhere, but I didn't have it for today's project. So A little tip, if you are looking to use sign vinyl and you need something, just a household item to be able to transfer it, you can use masking tape. I didn't even have masking tape either. I'm using painter's tape, which I think is a lot like masking tape. And it lifts off the sign vinyl very, very well. So that's what we're using today. It's definitely not what I would recommend using for sign vinyl. But if you are in a predicament and you need something really quick, then masking tape or painter's tape will work. All right, so I'm just going to be placing this vertically on the water bottle, right? So that seems to be a trend with personalizing water bottles. And I want to make sure I'm at the front of the water bottle, which is this logo here. So I'm going to place this down like that. And I'm going to start from the center and work my way out. Now you can use a squeegee for this process if you'd like. I just use my fingers for this because it helps me get on those rounded edges the best. And you can see I'm just starting from the center and working my way up, and then I'm going to do the same thing and work my way down. Now the true test of the painter's tape here is going to be if it releases from the sign vinyl off of the hard good. So let's see how it works out. Yeah, we're probably going to have an issue, but we'll see. This is completely brand new to me. I've never used this tape before. As I mentioned, it's just something I had laying around. And we're going to see if it's going to apply this to the bottle here. All right, so it looks like it's doing a pretty good job. Nothing really lifting up as long as you can get that first piece started. All right, so super easy to personalize hard goods with sign vinyl. All right, so this again was the printed sign vinyl. We do offer it in patterns, and it ended up working out really well with the painter's tape there. Now I did have a contour cut out too, but I think I'm going to just leave it with the pattern. Most times whenever I'm working with a pattern heat transfer vinyl, I always choose a solid color to go with it. In this case, I was going with our pink sign vinyl, which you can see there. I'm going to avoid it this time just because it's really hard to see through this green tape. Once again, why it's important to use the Aura tape that's clear. But I think I'm going to have a hard time dropping that contour in and being able to see it very well. But the pattern really stands off of this black product. All right. So again, this was sourced from Leeds, Leeds. All right. And then I mentioned Save a Cup is another one too. So it looks really good on there. Usually, as I was mentioning earlier, I try to pair a solid color with patterns to make the pattern pop a little bit more. But I think this looks really good without it. I don't think we really need to add it. All right, so that's just a best practice if you are working with maybe a clear water bottle where the pattern is kind of getting lost on the product. Always drop in a solid color around it and it'll make that pattern pop a little bit more. All right. Myra asks, can you cut glitter vinyl with a distress look? Is it heat transfer vinyl or solid vinyl? I know you can with heat transfer vinyl, but I haven't messed with glitter sign vinyl very much, just for like testing purposes in the past. So I'm not really sure about the sign vinyl. All right, so our hard good is complete. Now I wanted to do a t-shirt with it. So as I mentioned earlier, it's Nurses Week. So that is who we're decorating for today. So I'm going to do a personalized t-shirt and water bottle so that these two items can be paired together and sold or gifted to someone. My best friend's actually a charge nurse at a hospital in West Virginia, Ruby Hospital. So that's who this is being dedicated to today. All right, so as I mentioned, we're going to be doing a mixed media design. So the first product that I'm going to cut, because I'm all set up with it on the Cricut, is Bling, and then we're going to pair that with UltraWeed, and this is the color mint blue. All right, so I'm just going to load this on here. I have my iron-on plus setting. However, anytime I'm working with Chroma Bling on the Cricut, in comparison to how iron-on plus works with Glitter Flake, that setting actually doesn't cut Chroma Bling because it's too thick of a product. So whenever I am working with this, I always go back and increase the settings an additional 15. So I cut Glitter Flake on the Cricut at 170, but I'm cutting Chroma Bling on the Cricut at 185. Right, so that just kind of gives you an idea of where we're at there. And I can go ahead and select this. I already have my design mirrored here. And I'm just gonna hit go on the cutter. All right, so again, anytime you're working with Chroma Bling and you are using those iron-on plus settings, you want to increase your force of the blade and how deep that's going into the material an additional 15. So the standard is usually 170 if you're cutting Glitter Flake or flock. Sometimes I even increase it a little bit for flock, but for Chroma Bling, it's going to go up even more so. Lots of comments coming in. Anna asks, can you use HTV on water bottles? I know people have done it in the past. It depends on the substrate of the water bottle. A lot of people won't do it if it's plastic because they don't want to melt the water bottle and compromise the finish or quality of that product by putting heat transfer vinyl on there. But I know people are doing it on ceramic and probably a material more like this, which is kind of like a metal, so that they're not melting anything. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and load in my UltraWeed here. All right, so whenever you're loading on your UltraWeed, all the color is always gonna go face down and then the backing is white, so that'll be face up. All right. Looks like I answered all the questions. Everybody's just kind of commenting in. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. All right, so we have our Chroma Bling cut, and we can go ahead and weed that now. I do want to send the next design to cut, though, so I'm going to do that while we're weeding. And then I'll show you where I got the design from in CADWorks so that you guys can use it if you want. All right, so Chroma Bling, pretty easy to weed. It doesn't have a super tacky backing, so you want to be careful with the amount of detail you do in a design. But for the most part, it's pretty easy to weed. It doesn't take a lot of force to be able to get the material away from its backing. But I just love this product. No matter what color of the material you're applying this to, it just looks really nice. All right, so we're going to be pairing this with the mint color, and we're going to be putting it on this lavendery pink type product. All right, and this t-shirt is from District. And it is a cotton poly blend, so we'll apply this one at 300 degrees. That will be the perfect temperature settings for both Chroma Bling and UltraWeed. All right, so while that's still cutting, I'm going to go ahead and bring up CADWorks so that you guys can see where I was sourcing this graphic. All right, so we've been adding a bunch of templates and designs in here. There's two styles that we're importing. The 2020 new is everything that you can actually go in and customize completely. So everything in 2020 new is customizable, which is actually where I sourced this design. It should be here on my screen somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe I put it in stock design. Yeah, I did. Okay, so it's in stock design. So even though it's in stock design, and the reason I put it in there is because it's a unique particular type of clip art in there. It's not a piece of clip art that we have actually in our clip art section, but you can edit this however you want. So if you wanted to take out blessed and put in something else, you have the ability to do that. So that's actually where I went in and changed blessed to charge nurse, which is the exact position of the t-shirt that we're decorating today for that particular person. And then all I did at this point was just exported this graphic in a PNG and brought it into Cricut along with some of the other designs that we're cutting today. Uh-oh, guess what I did? I forgot to change my settings. So this completely punched through the carrier, and I'm going to show you where that happened, up there, all the way through the design. So we are going to recut that. We just have to get it off of the backing here. Okay, there we go. All right, so what I can do, actually, it looks like I have enough material on the other side of this. So we're going to trim this up and cut the rest of the scrap here for this design. All right, so before I do that, I want to make sure that I definitely have enough material on my cutting mat. So we're going to check this by bringing up that design and seeing the exact width and height of it. So it goes just above 6, so we have that covered, and it goes all the way out to almost the 12-inch mark. So we have enough material on the mat to be able to cut this again. So all I have to do is just load this up and make sure I actually change my cut settings this time. And UltraWeed cuts just fine on the iron-on setting without adjusting any of this, also depending on the newness of your blade. All right, so Anne Wright asked, what is your font? So the font that design was created in, I can bring that up on the screen for you. That one is a font that I actually uploaded. So if you aren't familiar with CADWorks very much, what you're able to do is actually import your own text. So if you go to fonts, you'll see a variety of fonts that we already have added in CADWorks. And then we have a bunch that we are starting to add more that you'll start to see more and more of, like, more popular and like trendy fonts. And then you can also import your own fonts by going to upload font and then just uploading either a TTF or a zip file. No open type font, which is the file is actually titled OTF after the name of the font. So those don't work in this. So anything that's listed TTF or a zip file will work fine in CADWorks and can import. And I believe I can't remember the title of it, but I would know it to see it. Okay, it's this one here. It's the Call Me Maybe Skinny. Actually, no, it's this one, KGB PDX Bridgetown. So this was sourced from dafont.com, and you can utilize it in a lot of your designs very easily. So dafont.com has a variety of fonts that you can download, and you can either donate to the people that are offering their fonts and building those out, but you don't have to pay for them. So you can donate if you want, but you don't have to pay for them. But just keep in mind, you can't take these fonts and like resell them to anybody. So keep that in mind. It's just for like personal use. So if you're creating a design with them, that's fine to be able to sell your artwork, but don't take that font and then try to sell it to somebody. right? So that's kind of like where the guidelines go for personal use. And it's listed in there. Just to make sure you read everything to make sure you're using it correctly. Because although they're free, there are some things that you have to pay attention to in that. All right, so another question came in from Jolene. What are the recommendations to the customer for washing those water bottles made with sign vinyl? So we recommend that you hand wash. And although this sign vinyl looks like it's on here, right now I could probably pick this all off because it's fairly new as far as when I applied it on here. So you want to make sure that you are letting it set for a few hours before you give the product to your customer. That way the adhesive has time to really cure to the product that you're applying it to. So the longer it sets on there, the longer it's going to last, but just make sure that they're not throwing it in the dishwasher. A lot of other people use the epoxy method, which can be time consuming and you need additional equipment to be able to work it. But the outcome is really, really cool. So if this is something that you really want to be able to sell and profit off of with a good quality product, then consider the epoxy method if you want to do tumblers and water bottles and things like that. All right, so our UltraWeed is all cut out now with the accurate settings there, so we can go ahead and weed this and then actually heat press our t-shirt. UltraWeed, if you guys didn't know already, which you probably do, but the UltraWeed is our brand new CAD-CUT product. We've been promoting it since our launch last Friday in our live classes. So Josh and I have been talking about it a lot, but this product is amazing. In comparison to a lot of the other products that we have shown you as far as cutting and weeding go, this is the easiest product to work with. And it helps for any of those garments that apply at a really, really low temperature because they're super heat sensitive. This applies as low as 260 degrees on some of those really heat sensitive fabrics. So 100% polyester, poly spandex mixes, anything that really gets, you know, burned or scorched underneath that high heat, this product is going to be perfect for. Now, there are different recommended application instructions as far as what temperature you should heat apply this product at based off of the substrate that you are heat applying. So as I mentioned, if you're doing any of those super sensitive fabrics like 100% polyester, maybe some spandex blends, then that's whenever you would use the 260 degree application. However, if you are working with cotton, you would use that 300 degree application. So you'll notice that on our website that we recommend the temperature settings be anywhere from 260 degrees to 300, and that's why. So if you're working, and Josh explained it pretty well. If you're working with a substrate that has a high content of cotton in it, that's the higher the temperature you want it to be. All right, so I'm gonna send the last design to cut while we are heat applying this so that we can also personalize scrubs. Right, so I'm just gonna hit the go button. All right, and we are cutting this one out of the light pink UltraWeed. All right, so while that is cutting, we'll go ahead and heat apply. All right, so again, for this application, we are customizing with a mixed media design, and we are doing it at 300 degrees. So I actually need to increase my temperature. Now, since I am working with a mixed media design, although UltraWeed can apply at 280 for this particular garment because it is a cotton poly blend, I still need to go with the settings of the highest temperature of product that we're heat applying. So Since we're doing Chroma Bling and it applies at 300, we need to be at those settings. Right, so for the front, I can actually go ahead and heat apply that because the front piece is just going to be a name on the left chest. And to line up the left chest, the easiest way to do that is to look at the center of where the seam meets the collar and then drop down 6 inches from there. Now this is a scoop neck t-shirt, which makes it a little bit harder for placement, but just consider that the typical recommendations for applying a t-shirt is like 4 fingers down, which usually measures out to like 3 inches. This will not apply because it's such a low scoop neck. So we'll be pretty close to that scoop neck because we still need to follow that 6 inches down. Right, so what I'm gonna do is drop the collar off the back. And then we can go ahead and heat apply for that 12-second application. So UltraWeed applies anywhere from 260 to 300 once again, but ultimately the time is always going to be 12 seconds. Right, so I can go ahead and remove the carrier. Has a nice pop off of the garment, very subtle, but still looks really good. I really like these 2 colors together. Right, now we can do the back. So this is another popular placement for t-shirts. So just keep this in mind whenever you are personalizing or custom printing designs for your customers. The back placement always builds more profit opportunity. Right, I'm just making sure any seams that could cause any uneven pressure are out of the way. And the first application we're going to do is the largest part, which is really going to set the template for alignment with the Chroma Bling. All right, and anytime you're doing the back print of a garment, you want to consider how far down to go. Typically, in the where the shoulder blades are, whenever the t-shirt is worn, is a really good placement. But anytime you're working with someone that has really long hair that could cover it, you also want to take that into consideration as well. All right, now we're going to drop in the Chroma Bling. Making sure I'm not too close so that it fills the gap outline that was in there originally that was punched through. So this I'm just covering with the heat transfer vinyl because anytime that you have any exposed heat transfer vinyl that could hit or damage or possibly stick to the upper heating element, you just want to make sure that you cover that. All right, and Chroma Bling is a cold peel. So we can just put this on. Actually, we'll set this to the side for now to cool as we weed out our monogram frame here. All right, in this one, we're really going to test the amount of detail that the UltraWeed can do because it has a lot of fine detail in the frame of this. This is another template that was added into CADWorks. So it's doing that detail very, very well. All those little lines that are in these laurel leaves are picking right out. All right, so another great attribute of the UltraWeed is the amount of detail that you can achieve with that. And that is some really great detail we were able to get there. All right, one pull, super easy. And now we can heat apply. So we'll go ahead and heat apply the scrub top with this while we're still waiting for the Chroma Bling to cool down. And we're just going to do the pocket of this. So I'm just going to line that up. And the themes, sorry, there's a lot of stuff on here causing uneven pressure. All right, so the pocket is not going to be too thick. That will cause uneven pressure. So I don't really need to worry about having a pillow there. If I was working with a pillow that could cause, or working with an item that could cause uneven pressure, all I'd have to do is drop in a pillow there so that those would not cause any issue with the application. Right, so I can go ahead and heat apply that. The pockets of scrub tops are actually pretty big, so I increased the size of your typical left chest logo application. This is actually 4.5. The carrier peeled off for me, so. All right, so that is complete, right? And this is actually a borrowed scrub top, but I'm not aware of any really wholesale places where you can get scrubs. So if anybody knows of any, if you could comment that in, that would really help us out for recommendations. All right, so I did see a comment come in that asks if the carrier from the Chroma Bling will be indented in the UltraWeed. It did very, very fairly. Right, so I'm going to hold that up. You might be able to see it a little bit. What I could do is load this back on the platen to kind of get that out of there. I didn't use an overly firm pressure where it's going to leave that score mark there. So all I'd have to do is just drop this back on and hit it for just a couple seconds. And it should be able to take that right out. So we'll try it out. I haven't tested this with UltraWeed. I know it's worked in the past with Fashion Film and Premium Plus. So we'll see if it works. Yes, no more line. All right, so as long as it's not a super firm pressure that left a score mark from the carrier laying over top, you could do that by just laying it right back on there and heat applying it for a few additional seconds, and that'll take it right out. The other thing I could have done if I was thinking about it was tacked the Chroma Bling for 3 to 5 seconds, which would have avoided that from actually happening, and then just put the carrier sheet right over top and applied for its full application, right? So that's another way to do it, but this is the finished result. We have our left chest logo on there with the name that's personalized, and then her position at the hospital, right? So a really great way to gift for any healthcare workers or essential workers. We want to make sure we're showing our appreciation for them during this time and all the hard work that they're putting in. And of course, it's Nurses Week. So if you know anybody that is, you know, helping out with everything, then you can gift them with something really nice like this. And I think that these two items pair very nicely together, especially with the colors of the pattern that we utilized in the sign vinyl. All right, and of course, scrubs are super easy to decorate because they're just a basic cotton type of substrate. So any heat transfer vinyl that you're working with is definitely going to work for this. But I definitely recommend the UltraWeed because it's such a thin material and it's super safe. It's CPSIA compliant, so they are fine to wear it in the hospitals. It's not going to cause an issue at all. Pam asks, what brand of t-shirt? This is a district t-shirt. I can't remember the item number. I don't know if it's listed on here or not. It's not, but it's a nice cotton poly blend, and it feels super soft. I actually love this t-shirt. I bought a couple for myself, actually. All right, so Tony says Mission Linen Supply sells scrubs at wholesale. So that, thank you so much for that. We've actually been trying to figure out a really great wholesaler for those that, you know, are reliable and whatnot. Right. All right. Looks like all of the questions are answered. Yeah, so Denise, every design that we utilize today is all in CAD-Works. So we're still adding templates in there for you guys to use. So it's a free online artwork software. So definitely just create an account and go in and play around. There's a lot of stuff in there that you can utilize that you don't have to pay for. All right, Dell says it is better to go to Google Fonts as they are open source and free. All right, so thank you for that. Yeah, Google Fonts does have a lot of stuff. Actually, someone at a trade show was telling me that once, but I never actually looked into it, so I'll have to go and look at all of them. Laura asks, is the ability to use OTF fonts coming in an update to CAD-Works? I am not sure. We can definitely check on that for you, but to my knowledge, you need a TTF or a zip to be able to vector cut it. I don't think that OTF has that capability. I could be totally wrong because I'm not totally knowledgeable when it comes to fonts, but I do know that TTF and zip files right now offer a vector type of font that can be cut. And the font for Elise's name, that is going to check right now for you. That was Better Together, right? So that one right there, that was another uploaded font. All right, looks like we have all the questions answered. I'm gonna revisit, I see some more coming in. So, all right. Nancy says, I'm testing UltraWeed as soon as it arrives. All right, awesome. So yeah, even if you're just getting 1 yard cuts in a couple different colors, that's a really good way to get started with UltraWeed. So definitely log on there. It's available in 30 colors right now. Some of the most popular that we've seen a lot of people ordering is just your basic white and black. And then metallic silver has been a huge hit too. So the metallics that we offer in UltraWeed, not to be confused with our metallic material, because one has a very foil-like finish, but the metallics in UltraWeed are more of just like they have a pretty sheen to them and they shine nice when the light hits them right. But they're definitely good for some of those niches that don't like the bright foils because some people consider them girly in some specific markets and niches. So this metallic is a great substitute for those instances. Right, and we have a question here. Can you cut any design on Cricut? Yes, so any design that you any design that you create in CAD-Works can be exported and imported into Cricut. All right, so there's a lot of videos that we have on that in some of our past lives as well, where we've shown how that process works. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. We will be back with you next week. So don't forget, on Mondays, we are still doing the social takeover with impressions. Actually, next Monday is our last one with them. So that happens at 10 a.m. If you're interested in joining us there. And then we are also doing a webinar at 11 on Monday as well. And it's a Ask the Experts webinar. So definitely join us there. It'll be me and a couple other people. Josh will be on there, as well as Allison Zaccaro and Jennifer Johnson. They've been doing a lot of the webinars lately. So definitely come join us there. We're doing a nice Q&A, right? So that'll be a lot of fun. And then we're also doing a webinar on Tuesday. Josh is hosting that one. It's an 11, and that's the other impressions social takeover. So that webinar you won't be able to find on our website, but we're constantly posting information on it. So check out our Facebook page to get all the deets on that. But as always, I appreciate you guys joining us, and I will see you next week. Have a fantastic weekend.